We are live. Good evening, good morning, depending on what part of the world you live in. We are back again after the humongous success of our last podcast, Kevin, which stopped midway, named as Wrong One. We are back with an original new cricket podcast named Cricket Addicts. And it's not a normal addict, it's more than a normal addict because it has 3 Ds and 4S at the end. The spelling is wrong on purpose. But presenting you Cricket Addicts episode 1, sponsored by ICC. Guess what? Yes, ICC, because me and Kevin have already reached the United States of America for the T20 World Cup 2024. Kevin is in Atlanta right now, but he will be traveling to Florida and New York, whereas I am already in Florida and will be traveling to Texas and New York for some of the matches which will be conducted in USA for the T20 World Cup 2024. But before we get into the T20 World Cup business, there is an IPL going on, and we will be discussing about the IPL. But first of all, I will introduce all the panelists on the show today. Kevin, as I said, straight from Atlanta. I don't know whose house he's living in, but he's in Atlanta at the moment. And guess what? Who's back? Recently, after applying for the India's head coach job, Ninad Lakde is back with the RCB jersey from not India, not USA. He's in Bahrain. Ninad, first of all, how are you? Seeing you after a long time. How has it been there?
It's been great, a great 1 year. Looking forward to doing this podcast with you right now. And yeah, I've missed this, and it's going to be fun.
Yeah, and this is going to be a weekly podcast, mind you. Last time also I promised the same thing, but this time we will get more regular, is what I believe, Kevin. Hopefully, you will be available throughout all the weekends.
Yeah, I've kept my weekends empty for this. So let's see.
Yeah. The thing about Kevin is he asks a lot of money for each episode. The only other thing is that we don't pay him, so it's quite a dilemma there. So whether to join or not. So Kevin finds it quite difficult to decide whether to join or not. But let's get into the cricket business now. IPL 2024 is on, and it has been a fantastic tournament so far. And we have a very, very, very important game tonight with the Royal Challengers Bangalore. As you can see, Ninad is already supporting the Royal Challengers Bangalore, who will be taking on the Chennai Super Kings at the Chinnaswamy Stadium for a direct spot in the playoffs. Kevin, so far the IPL has been great. We have seen a lot of big sixes, big hits because of the pitches and probably the grounds, and most importantly the intent shown by the batters, whether it's Jake Fraser McGurk, whether it's Abhishek Sharma, whether it's Travis Head, and even at a certain extent Virat Kohli has taken his strike rate to a different level in the power play. So talking about that, first of all, just comparing it to the T20 World Cup or taking it forward to the T20 World Cup, do you think something like this is possible in the T20 World Cup where scores like 240, 250, 270, 280 will be touched?
Uh, it's highly unlikely. It depends if the stronger teams would like to kind of like serve it on a platter to the associate nations, then we can expect such high scoring games. But else, so once we go into the Super 8s, I don't see 200 being breached quite often. So let's see. I We all want a contest between bat and ball, and we're hoping like if the games are around 180, I think that's good enough.
Yeah, I think 180 is that ideal score where you have you have to have a decent strike rate, as well as there is something for the bowlers as well, the likes of Jasprit Bumrah, Trent Bolt, Mitchell Stark, Pat Cummins would like something to be there in the pitch. And even with West Indies, you could probably think that the slower bowlers, the spinners, will come into play as well. But Nina, just quickly about these 240, 250, 270 scores. Do you think it's mostly because of the impact player? But I believe that it is highly based on the intent the players have shown. Like the likes of Abhishek Sharma and Travis Head, they just, whenever the ball is in their zone, it's just out of the park. They don't even think about it. And even Sunil Narayan, for that matter, Phil Salt for Kolkata Knight Riders, I think it's more about not fearing to get out. Like they don't care whether they get out or not. Something like that part is going on. Obviously, the impact player helps, saying that you have an extra batter in your team so that you can go hard in the first 6 overs. But I don't think it's only because of the impact player. What do you think, Nina?
Yeah, the impact player rule is probably the cause, and that's the reason is that because, as you said, that there are a lot of wickets left, so you know you've got that extra cushion of batsmen that you can come up. You have an extra batsman sitting in the hut, and you can make dynamic changes to your playing 12, as I would call it now. So the impact player has, I mean, looking at it personally, it's not that great of a thing for the game of cricket because you would see a lot of players missing out on certain key roles. The want or need of all rounders has been reduced now. Like we used to see earlier in the IPL, the likes of players like Shane Watson, Yusuf Pathan, Sunil Narayan, Andre Russell, for that matter, they were highly regarded. But now, if you have players who can get you a few overs part time, but that's not as looked at. So due to this, probably players like Shivam Dubey are missing out on bowling. You've got Washington Sundar, who was a great player. He's been there in the IPL since 2017, since he was really young. But this season he also wasn't able to get a chance, and it's primarily because of the impact player rule as well. So you've got these players who can contribute in small ways, which turn out to be a big thing, especially in a format like T20 cricket. So the impact player rule has also taken that away from the game, apart from the apart from giving players intent to go big.
Yeah, interesting points there. So, just to give you an overview about what we will be discussing today, I think the first 20 minutes we will talk about the IPL, then the next 20 minutes we'll go to the India's T20 World Cup squad, which has been selected by Ajit Agarkar, and the last 20 minutes or the last 10 minutes or so, we will again be previewing the RCB CSK game, which is the big game tonight. So, yeah, talking about the IPL again, Kevin, I think Mumbai Indians is a serious question at this point. Finishing last now, finished last in 2022 as well, just winning 4 games. And you look at the firepower in their team. You have Rohit Sharma, you have an Ishan Kishan, you have Surya Kumar Yadav, you have a Tilak Verma. Uh, Obviously, the skipper Hardik Pandya and then Jasprit Bumrah. So that is like half of the Indian team in the Mumbai Indians team, and still they have finished last. What is the reason? Is that the internal issues which obviously have been talked a lot throughout the IPL, the captaincy change between Rohit Sharma and Hardik Pandya? What do you look at as a primary issue for Mumbai Indians to finish last this season?
I think they've not gelled together as a group itself, and it shows the way they have played their cricket. It's not the losses that have disappointed, but the manner in which they have lost, because you don't see any standard performer. I was just reading some reports, and Michael one made an excellent point. He mentioned that like this season with Mumbai, and I think post 2022, you've seen them win games purely on individual brilliance. It's not been a kind of like a team effort. We've seen the Rohit Sharma Ishan Kishan partnership. I was expecting it to flourish, but statistically on paper, it seems that Ishan Kishan was striking at around 148, 150, but that is as a compensation. That's the reason his average is on the lower side, which is around 2022, around 22. But I'm not. I'm very disappointed because he didn't even breach the 400 run mark. As an opener, you expect your as an opener you expect the standard of the IPL is that you with 14 games, if you average around 25 to 28, you can hit that 400 run mark, and he's completely missed out on that. Someone like Tilak Verma, who's batting in the middle order at number 5, has done really well and exceeded expectations, and he's hit that 400 run mark. So you expect much more from Kishan, which has not happened. Similarly with Rohit Sharma, he had a good game yesterday, but both his 150 have come in losses. So it just goes to show that he's not had an impactful, meaningful season. So Kumar Yadav unfortunately has blown hot and cold, but you don't you from an explosive batsman like him, you expect that. So he's got you his 1 century and 350s. He's I think he's got around 300 plus runs this season, and because he has blown hot and cold, he's got 3 ducks to show for it as well. Tim David has been also a disappointment because you expected him to do the finisher's role that Pollard used to do, and 3 seasons and he's not given you much. Hardik Pandya's form has been also a disappointment. From the bowling, the only positive they had was Bumrah, and it was really entertaining to watch him bowl. If Mumbai had to change things, they would have hoped that they had tried him in the power play as early as possible, given the second, fourth over, just to put the handbrake on the opposition rather than using him as a dead bowler and trying to do damage control. So those are small changes, and unfortunately, they are the bowlers that they kind of like depended upon. They kind of like didn't show up. You see, I think they invested heavily on Gerard Coetzee, and he started off well, but then got injured. Luke Wardick, who came in as a replacement for Berendorf, he as well, I think, went injured, and they didn't show much faith in him. In between, they tried to play Romario Shepherd because they felt they needed more firepower, but the openers were starting slow, so they didn't require them. So in in a way, I don't know who was making the decisions. They were not using their impact player very well. Devon Bravis played some few games. There's Mohammad Nabi, who was not bowling. You wanted him as a finisher, but none of your finishers were getting enough game time. So all in all, it just seemed that it felt like a Punjab season where they didn't know what the issue was and what they were trying to resolve. So I hope I think it's time that this big group of you can say celebrities, celebrity cricketers, I think it's time to break them. It's time to break it down. You have the guys who really want to and bleed blue to play for Mumbai Indians, and let's see where they go from here.
Yeah, I think Kevin covered most of the points which we wanted to discuss about the Mumbai Indians. A lot of chopping, changing, not getting consistency from the top order batters, whether it was Rohit Sharma, whether it was Ishan Kishan, or even Surya Kumar Yadav for that matter, who was coming off an injury. Ninad, looking forward now for the Mumbai Indians. First of all, have they contacted you to be their analyst for the next season, which is an important question. And
Okay.
secondly, if you are taking up the job, what are the responsibilities, or what are the changes you see in the next year? Because it's a mega auction, say there are 4 to 5 retentions allowed. Who are the players you're looking to retain? Is Hardik Pandya your long-term captain? Because I don't think it's possible to go back to Rohit Sharma now. In fact, he won't take it up again, I guess. So what are the what are the changes which you see for the next season if there are like 4 to 5 retentions available for the mega auction?
Well, it's a tough ask. I mean, being from a fan's perspective, you would definitely want Rohit Sharma in your team. He's led the team for more than 10 years. He's brought home 5 titles, sorry, seven for the matter, two of Champions League as well. So it's a tough ask, but I think Rohit Sharma, looking at it from a logical perspective, you would be dropping Rohit Sharma because he may not give you the whole quota of the next 4 years of until when the next auction happens. I'm not assuming even if it would happen or not. So, looking at the way Mumbai Indians have gone about their business, they would definitely look to invest for the future. So, I think retain Hardik is a no-brainer because they've already gone forth, done the big trade, and everything's happened now. So there's no logical sense for them to just again remove Hardik from the team. So Hardik Pandya would be one of the retentions, Surya Kumar Yadav and Jasprit Bumrah, the Indian core. Um, these three players, and I'm not sure. There's no official announcement as of now about how many retentions can be made possible. But considering if there would be 4 retentions like the previous season, so these would be my 3 Indian players, and overseas. I mean, you would have to go with Tim David, the kind of potential that he has, the threat he possesses, and he could be a long-term player. He's got another 4 5 years of game time in him. So these would be my 4 picks, and I would look to probably buy back Ishan Kishan and Rohit Sharma if he comes back into the auction. But that's going to be a big blow to the purse.
Um,
Yeah, yeah. Go ahead, Kevin.
yeah, I understand the sentiment from a Mumbai fan, and I just like to bring this point. In IPL 2021, we saw two captains lead their teams to finals, and both the captains didn't have any significant contribution. And we saw something similar to Rohit Sharma last year in 2023 when he didn't have any significant contributions for Mumbai, but he still led them a weak and depleted side to the playoffs. And I think what Mumbai has done is kind of like done an RCB over here by being bold and letting out a statement, trying to tell Mumbai to tell Rohit Sharma that thank you for what you've done, but we don't need you as a captain anymore. And so I think what's hurt Rohit Sharma the most, I don't think it was the way of I think the manner in which he was asked to move out of the captaincy. I think that has affected him more. So I don't see him being a part of their retention strategy, and I'm disappointed. I expected him to kind of like come out and support Hardik Pandya for that matter, because at the end of the day, Mumbai is in a lot for Rohit Sharma, and I think I didn't see that anywhere from him. So I understand he was disappointed, but I felt that he could have shown Hardik Pandya a bit more support. But the way things are, I'm not sure whether both Surya Kumar Yadav and Bumrah would like to be retained by Mumbai Indians, and just because of the captaincy. Because with Bumrah and Surya Kumar, I think these are the peak years. The next IPL auction is kind of like very crucial to them. So I see only one of them getting retained, and even if they have to retain Surya Kumar Yadav and there is Tilak Verma, my question to you: who do you think should be the better? Who do you think Mumbai should look forward to? Because I think Surya Kumar is at 34 now. He might have another, the way he's playing, I think he could have another 4 years, but like with Surya Kumar Yadav, it's more of like hand-eye coordination. So I don't know how long he's going to keep up with that kind of like a game. And Tilak Verma is pretty young; he's like 22. So do you want to play her for the next 10 years? Because getting in Hardik Pandya at such a crucial time was only to kind of like extend Mumbai's dominance as a team for the next 6 years. So I would like Nina and Shubham, if you would like to just give in your opinions. Who do you think? Is it Tilak Verma or Surya Kumar Yadav? Because I think you're looking at a third retention from them. So the price as well
Yeah.
is kind of like on the lower side.
Yeah. No, I think Surya still is like one of the top batters in T20 cricket, if not the top. I think Henrik Klassen, Nicholas Puran, and Surya Kumar Yadav, those three keep interchanging. But I would like still go in with Surya Kumar Yadav because what he does, I don't think anybody else is capable of. Even Tilak Verma, I would see Tilak Verma as a fourth retention. I don't know if four Indians will be allowed because that is always the case. You generally have three Indians and then you can take an overseas one as the fourth one. But I agree with Ninad there. I think Rohit Sharma will not be retained. And obviously, he won't get retained as well, like on his own means as well. But I think Hardik Pandya, Jasprit Bumrah, Surya Kumar Yadav, and Tim David. But Kevin makes a very interesting point because the fact that this could be Surya's like last big cycle, as you say, where he can get the most amount of money which he can earn through the IPL. He would like to come into the auction and try his luck at the auction where he can get around 14, 15 crores if he comes in the right set because as we all know Ishan Kishan got 15.25 cr last time around, and if he gets retained he's obviously not getting that amount because he will be the third retention. The first two will obviously be Bumrah and Hardik. So that is a very interesting point there. But with Bumrah, I think he has been loyal to the franchise because they gave him the first opportunity in 2013, and he has been retained at quite a less amount. I would say 12 crore for him is a less amount considering the skills he has. So I think he will stay with the Mumbai Indians. The question will be of Surya Kumar Yadav because I think he's also like. He wanted Rohit Sharma as captain with some of his cryptic tweets or like Instagram stories. It was pretty clear that even he wasn't happy with the change in captaincy directly going to Hardik Pandya. And I think Kevin, you also made that point saying that probably Surya Kumar Yadav himself was expecting captaincy in a couple of years if Rohit Sharma was not going to lead Mumbai Indians. So yeah, but I think that they will try and convince Surya to stay at Mumbai Indians and Bumrah, obviously. So Bumrah, Hardik, Surya, I definitely see those three getting retained. Ninat, quick your thoughts on this about Surya and Tilak. I think that was the question more importantly, but I am going with Surya as of now.
Yeah, I would also stick to my initial statement that they would prefer Surya over Tilak. Did give it a thought, but you've seen Surya to be a well-established MI and India player over the past couple of years. So going with Surya would be the only logical option.
Yeah, Ishan Kishan definitely 15.25 CR hasn't worked out, quite worked out. The three big buys for the Mumbai Indians in that mega auction, or four buys, I would say Ishan Kishan, Jofra Archer 8 CR, Tim David 8.25 or something around that, and the fourth big buy was obviously Arjun Tendulkar for 30 lakhs. Hasn't quite worked out. He just bowled two balls yesterday and then left the field. Unfortunately, we missed out on six sixes there for Nicholas Puran. Now, moving on from the Mumbai Indians, we will get back to the playoff teams towards the end when we discuss RCB, CSK. But before that, a quick word on LSG, DC, and Punjab. I think Punjab pretty much what you expected, not at their best, and probably not didn't have the team to go into the top four as well. So Punjab Kings. And as long as they don't contact us as their analysts, I don't see them qualifying for the playoffs for the next 10 years. So I request the Punjab Kings team to contact us as soon as possible. Kevin will provide his email ID at the end of the
Yeah, link
podcast.
in description.
Link in
Link
description.
in
Yeah,
description.
yeah. But Nina, just talking about the Lucknow Super Giants and Delhi Capitals, both finishing on 14.7 wins from 14 games. Just needed one more game and they could have qualified for the playoffs. I think LSG did have a good team on paper to a certain extent, but Delhi Capitals, I believe, probably have outperformed themselves because some of their big names, David Warner, Mitchell Marsh, even Henrik Nokia didn't show up. It didn't show up as in weren't in great form, but still they managed to win 7 out of the 14 games. So that's a positive sign for them, I believe.
Yeah, the thing with Delhi this season was that the players that were expected to perform didn't perform as much. Like as he said, Warner, Mitch Marsh as well. The few games that he did play in the season, there weren't much notable contributions that he did. But the replacements did a pretty good job. You saw Jake Fraser McGurk play 9 games. He smashed around 32 fours and 28 sixes this season. We've seen Tristan Stubbs also do well after warming the benches at MI. He finally got a proper season and he's shown the kind of he's shown
Potential, yeah.
the
Yeah.
the potential, the finishing potential that he has. And also another star performer I would feel from the Delhi Capitals was Khalil Ahmed. He's been a really underrated bowler. He does pretty well in the power play. He bowls those hard lengths which are used in test matches, and he's pretty effective with the new ball as well. This season as well, picking 17 wickets. So I think these were a few players from Delhi Capitals who did well, but as a team, they really couldn't step up when it mattered.
Yeah, I think that second last game against the Royal Challengers Bangalore, they got unlucky there as well, or I think it was their mistake itself, where Rishabh Pant got banned for that game. So that was a big issue, and I think two of their key batters got run out, Jake Fraser, McGurk, and Tristan Stubb. So that was a big game for them, and as you said, they couldn't step up in that game. Kevin, coming to Lucknow Super Giants just quickly, and then we will move to the Indian team for the T20 World Cup. Lucknow Super Giants, I think. Had the team probably to qualify in the top four, they definitely missed Mayank Yadav big time because he was the guy who helped them win two games against the Punjab Kings and the Royal Challengers Bangalore. They missed him, but at the top, there was just a huge issue there because the opening partner of KL Rahul was not fixed. They started it with Quinton de Kock, which you would do obviously considering his caliber, but then he was not in form. They moved to Arshin Kulkarni, which was pretty questionable because he hadn't played any big games or he was playing in the IPL for the first time. Then in the last match again they went to Devdutt Padikkal. Where was Kyle Mayers, who had a fantastic season for them in IPL 2023? That was a question which people kept on asking. And then Nicholas Puran's batting position was another question which was being asked because he was batting at 5. They wanted commentators and analysts wanted him at number 4, probably number 3 as well, where he bats for West Indies. So probably the batting department is where they got it wrong because they couldn't put up the big scores. They thought 160, 170 could be enough, and it definitely wasn't in this IPL.
My opinion, honest opinion, though, LSG, I think along with Mumbai, they were one of the you can say kind of like it was a struggle to watch their games. The way they played their cricket, it was very pretty confusing. You didn't know what to expect from them. And I think both the teams, MI and LSG, had a pattern. I think both qualified last season, but both didn't kind of like build onto what was their success mantra. They tried to change their things by getting in players and restructuring their, you can say, 11, and that backfired. I was disappointed with Devdutt Padikkal, but once I think they decided that they wanted to move away from him, they shouldn't have gone back to him. And you see with Quinton de Kock, with along with Rohit Sharma, he was one of the best openers at the T20 World at the ODI World Cup, and it was he couldn't convert that. But I felt that you once you decided that you were going to open with KL Rahul, and you had the options of Quinton de Kock and Kyle Mayers, I think they should have opted to go with Kyle Mayers, just because he kind of like we saw with him last season in the matches that he played. I think he had 450s, and almost three of them were at around 200 strike rate. So having someone like him to kind of like take pressure off KL Rahul, that would have been an excellent move. Didn't work out. They could have played. They still had the option to play Deepak Hood at number three, or even they could have just kind of like backed. They could have backed Ayush Badoni at number three, or even Prerak Mankad for that matter. But they kind of like pushed Stoinis number three. It worked out for them, and because that move worked out, they could have still kind of like used the partnership of Stoinis and Puran, which is so good last season. But because they didn't want to put all eggs in one basket, they broke that partnership. I don't think we saw there may have been even three or four instances where Puran and Stoinis batted together. Because even though you would see KL Rahul getting out, or you can say whoever Stoinis was getting out, you were pushing the Indian batsman in front and keep holding on to your best resource in Nicholas Puran. And despite him coming at number five to get 499 runs at a strike rate of around, I think around 170, it's commendable. If if only they had used him a bit more, I'm pretty sure LSG would have won a lot more games. And we've seen them kind of like in the first season as well. Should have been a top two team. Didn't kind of like get the right you can say strike rate in place. Didn't hit the right net run rate, so finished third. We saw last season as well with them. Couldn't kind of like muster up enough credits to boost their net run rate. They finished third again. So and this season they could have finished at least fourth, but some games didn't go, and it's harsh to kind of like blame it on Mayank Yadav for being injured. But I think they kind of like shot their selves in the foot by kind of like trading Avish Khan for a batsman. And once they did that, they could have persisted with that move, but for some reason they didn't go ahead and persist with that move, which was kind of like disappointing. Also, I was disappointed to see Ravi Bishnal had been trusted by KL Rahul. So that I think they could have just figured out something. I don't know how good a captain KL Rahul is, but I feel that I think if LSG have to move forward, I think they have to move away from KL Rahul. We saw Krunal Pandya doing an excellent job last season, and without a big guy like KL Rahul, it's your 600 runs, you still kind of like help your team qualify. And you see this season round, with all the firepower that they had, I think kind of like the chopping and changing with Naveen Ullah playing some games and getting in Shamar Joseph, then kind of like getting Matt Henry. You didn't know what to expect. I think big positive for them was Yash Thakur, but I think he went for a lot of runs. Mohsin kind of like you didn't know what to expect with him, coming back from injury. So let's see how they go from here. But yeah, I can assure you that Justin Langer is a tough coach. So
Yeah.
he's definitely listening to us.
Yeah, and the thing is that I think it was his first experience at the IPL. He has been talking about it a couple of times, saying that he has enjoyed it quite a bit. But obviously, it is quite a tough job because if you don't make the playoffs, then you are answerable to the owners. And KL Rahul is definitely answerable to Sanjeev Goenka. We saw that in that video. A question coming in, and then we will move on to the Indian team. How good was Pant's captaincy? Ninad, if you want to chip in here. Rishabh Pant coming back after a long layoff because of his accident. Straight up captain, wicketkeeper, and probably the leading run scorer for Delhi Capitals as well. I think he had a really good season with the bat. Definitely, strike rate was up there as well. Probably has his issues against spin where he is finding it difficult to hit spin, but at the same time, I think he was pretty good in the captaincy department as well, because he bought his team up from where they were. I think they were at the bottom of the table after 5 6 games, and then making it to the top five, top six. It's a very good job, I would say. from Rishabh Pant. Okay, so we have a special guest joining in. He was part of our earlier podcasts as well. Wrong one. He was in the Himalayas, and I think he is still in the Himalayas. Mr. Shabby Shubham, joining straight up from the Himalayas. I don't know where. What are you doing there? The matches at Dharamshala are over. The match is at Chinnaswamy. What are you doing at the Himalayas?
So even if it match is at Chinnaswamy, Himalayas is a nice place to watch from.
Yeah,
So yeah, still at Himalayas.
yeah,
I'm
that's
not
true.
getting time to change my wallpaper. So yes.
Yeah, yeah, big game move there as we get to the Indian T20 World Cup squad for the T20 World Cup in 2024. And as I mentioned at the start of the podcast, Kevin and me, both of us have already reached the United States of America for the T20 World Cup. The ICC has contacted us, and we will be roaming around all the grounds to just have a look as to how the games are going. So let's get the Indian team out now. As you can see on your screen, the ticker running down the screen. Rohit Sharma, captain Yashasvi Jaiswal, Virat Kohli at number 3, Surya Kumar Yadav, Rishabh Pant is back after a long layoff. Sanju Samson, Shivam Dube, Hardik Pandya, Ravindra Jadeja, Akshar Patel, Kuldeep Yadav, Jasprit Bumrah, Arshdeep Singh, Mohammad Siraj, Yuzvendra Chahal. This is the 15 for the T20 World Cup. And Shabby, let's start with you because Kevin and Ninal have been gone missing somewhere. I think they are speaking to Jaisha on the squad. But yeah, a quick first thoughts on the squad. No Rinku Singh, and apart from that, I don't think there are any surprise moves. There were talks about DK being included, but I think Rishabh Pant and Sanju Samson have outperformed DK probably. And the bowling is pretty much stock standard, which you expected. Jadeja, Akshar, Kuldeep, Chahal, four spinners. That's a talking point. So yeah, just quickly the talking points after you look at the squad. First thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, it looks complete. Obviously, they have given some preference to international performances rather than IPL performances, it seems. Hardik Pandya and guys like Hardik Pandya, and apart from that, maybe Arshdeep Singh. They have been like purely selected based on the international experience of T20s and not on their IPL performances, because we know both are like properly struggling in IPL. I'll also take the name of Mohammad Siraj there. He's also struggling. So I was expecting, like, if you go from the IPL side, I was expecting bit changes on the bowling side to accompany Bumrah, but they're just selected a basic what was expected as per the international experience. Four spinners is really good decision, I feel, because the go-to bowlers after Bumrah would be the spinners, I feel, for India. If Bumrah not giving you wickets, the spinners can give you wickets. They are capable enough. Chahal, Kuldeep, both of them. So that is, in a way, a good decision, I feel. And in batting, I guess it was kind of expected. Rinku was deserving a place, but again couldn't fit in the combination that they wanted to make. They wanted to give maybe Dubey higher priority because he can be great substitute to Pandya and he can bowl a bit. Rinku, you don't have option with that kind of bowling, and I guess yeah. So when you have Rohit and Kohli, then obviously you didn't have option for taking Rinku and Dubey both. So maybe Dubey was preferred over Rinku only for the bowling option he provides.
Yeah, I think that was the shootout there. Rinku and Shivam Dube in the squad, even though they play different roles in the Indian team. Shivam Dube probably more of a spin hitter, whereas Rinku Singh could have been a finisher if he was part of the Indian team. But Kevin, I don't think we should go there saying that whether Rohit or Kohli should have been in the squad. I think the squad has been announced. Rohit and Kohli are in the squad, so there is not much which the like people like you and me can do. I believe that Rohit and Kohli could have like opted out of this T20 World Cup because there are so many young guys coming up who could have got a chance. Probably Jaiswal and Gill could have opened, but yeah, not moving into that zone. Kevin, quickly on the four spinners thing, because that's an interesting thing. I don't know if you heard that Rohit Sharma press conference where he said that there is a technical aspect involved in that. I wouldn't reveal it right now. Probably when I reach the United States. We are already in the United States. What do you make of the conditions? It's quite sunny out here. Probably he has read that it's quite sunny. The pitch might dry out, and you need spinners. But the interesting thing here is there are four spinners, but apart from Aksar, who might not make the 11, there is not a single spinner who bowls in the power play. So I don't see a point. Like, are you bringing in three spinners just to bowl from 7 to 15? That's 8 to 9 overs. How can three spinners bowl in there? Like, everybody can't complete their quota then. What exactly is the plan there? Because the type of spinners don't make sense if you are talking about spin throughout the innings.
Yeah, and I'm surprised because I was presuming that they'll go with three spinners. I didn't think they'll pick Akshar Patel, but I understand that they wanted him as a backup for Ravindra Jadeja because of how crucial Ravindra Jadeja is with respect to Hardik Pandya, kind of like forming that combination. Like I think it's since 2017 onwards, India have always wanted to go in with Hardik Pandya and Ravindra Jadeja as a number six, number seven, and kind of like filling in that all-rounder spot. So because of which they have not even kind of like backed other all-rounders. So I can understand that kind of decision. But I'm very surprised because are we reading the conditions differently? We've seen all other teams pick extra pacers and kind of like few spinners in their side, and we're going in with just three pacers and more spinners. So I'm not I'm a little bit confused and skeptical. That's the reason I said India's chances are heavily dependent on Rohit Sharma and how he kind of like uses the resources because you have 6 overs of power play, you have another 5 overs of your death overs. So are you planning on using Hardik Pandya as a swing bowler in that case? Or are you trying to kind of like you want I don't think, and an excellent point that you made is that we don't have any spinners who can bowl in the power play, even though the the pitches can kind of like will assist us. And even if the pitches are kind of like assisting spin, and you have someone like a Travis Head in front of you or a Devon Conway, are you going to expect Ravindra Jadeja to open the power play? So it's a bit confusing as to the structure. The selections that they made. I can understand. It looks really good on paper, but I'm not kind of like impressed with the side because we still don't have clarity as to who's going to bat where and how we want to go about it. So it all depends on that practice game. I think we're going to play Bangladesh.
Mhm.
That's going to give us an idea as to how Rohit Sharma wants to kind of like set the tempo and how he wants to play this T20 World Cup. But I wish most of the players had played together for a lot of time, and it's I don't think if I don't see how we could have done things better because if we could have done it better we would have done it already. Yeah, let's see.
Yeah, the interesting thing here is that the schedule is so packed that the T20 World Cup starts on 1st June. US take on Canada, and India play their first warm up match on 1st June. So the schedule is so packed that everything is coming together. But yeah, I think Kevin mentioned that we don't have spinners who will bowl in the power play. I think we have one spinner who bowls in the power play. That's Aksar Patel. But I think Aksar Patel won't make the India 11, and I think Ninad has a piece on that. Aksar versus Jadeja. Ninad, I think you have done some extraordinary research. Can we put it out there? Can you tell your point of view as we go? Ravindra Jadeja versus Aksar Patel. I will just share the screen and try and show what you have got here. We also have a Ravindra Jadeja fan in the house, so it would be an interesting debate here as we go. Who should make the squad first 11? Sorry, Ninad, let's start with you.
All right. So, I mean, looking at the way Jadeja's name is present in the Indian cricket team over the past, let's say, 5 to 8 years, he's been like a vital cog. And there's no doubt about his prowess or his contribution that he's done in test matches. But uh, according to the stats, T20 is not it for Jadeja. So if you could kind of zoom in to the stats as well, you've
Yeah, yeah.
seen
This
the
one?
first part. Yeah. So let's talk about them as bowlers first, right? So
Okay.
you've seen that the dot ball percentage versus right hand batsman and versus left hand batsman. You can
Mhm.
see that Akshar Patel has a higher dot ball percentage than Jadeja. He's got a lesser economy as well against right hand and is the same against left hand. A better average. It's a higher average. My bad. Wickets are also similar towards them. So you've got Akshar Patel who bowls more dot balls in the power play, and You could see the effect of that in the IPL as well. Um, a bowler like Akshar Patel, or a bowler who bowls dots, um, that dodge balls create pressure in T20s where, if you're just rotating strike taking singles, batsmen do not have that much of pressure. So if you induce the batsman to play more dot balls, it's more likely that a wicket's going to come around the corner. So that's what Akshar Patel does better than Jadeja, is bowling dots. And also looking at the numbers, if you scroll below onto the
Yeah,
last table,
sure. This one.
yeah. So these are phase-wise numbers of both the bowlers. As you can see, Ravindra Jadeja, surprisingly, as we discussed, all of us were surprised to find out that Jadeja hasn't bowled in the power play at all, whereas Akshar
And
Patel
this
has
is this
bowled.
is all IPL. This is not just this
Yeah,
IPL.
right. This is the entirety of IPL
Yeah,
until the last match that
yeah,
happened for DC and Jadeja. So this is all their games that they've played. You can see that Akshar Patel has a really good economy in the start, death, middle, and death overs. It's better than Jadeja's. So not only he more economical, but uh, he also gives more with the bat, which we will discuss above.
yeah.
And
Let's go now.
also, if you would compare the average, you can see Akshar Patel's average to be, since Jadeja doesn't have data in the power play, so let's just ignore that. But in the middle overs, they're almost neck and neck. But in the death, look at the difference.
Yeah, yeah. I think there you can suggest that Aksar has been the better bowler. But yeah, also talking about the batting stats, if you could, because whoever plays, most likely it will be Jadeja. If he plays, they will bat at number 7. So
Right.
if we can get that stats as well. Now directly, if we go to number 7, I think strike rate of 142, average of 23.94, which is pretty decent. For Jadeja, it's 125. So again, Aksar pips Jadeja. There is what I can see. Am I right in like
Exactly.
reading these numbers?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah, and this I think is against each type of bowler. And I think the most important thing which I want to see is versus right arm pace and left arm pace. And I think Jadeja should be good here. Yeah, I think where is the strike rate? I think this is runs per over. I guess we've got here the runs per over. So yeah, but 8.12 I think will be around 140, 145 will be the strike rate. 132. Yeah, I think this is the only zone versus pace. Jadeja would be better as a batter because he has played Test cricket for a long time. He understands how to whack pace. But at the same time, if you look at spin, Aksar Patel is your guy to go against spin because he can strike it big. We saw that in the game against Gujarat Titans as well. He was sent up the order to take on Noor Ahmed and Rashid Khan, and he did it pretty successfully, scoring 66 in that game, if I'm not wrong. So yeah, these are the couple of stats which we have come up with. And like, just to give your final point of view, Ninad, what's your thought process on this? Then are you going in with Aksar because he gives you a power play option and he is better with the bat to a certain extent than Jadeja in the T20 format?
Yeah, looking purely stats wise, I would say that Akshay Patel has an edge over Jadeja. Uh, Jadeja's strike rate, I just amended that right now. It was in
Yeah,
runs per over. Akshar's is 132, Jadeja's is 136 versus right arm pace. And when it
yeah.
comes to left arm pace, it's 145 to Akshar and 147. So
147.
really, yeah. So there's not much of a difference. It's just two.
Yeah, 2
So
points. Yeah,
yeah, whereas you can see Akshar Patel offers a lot more in the bowling department, and you've seen the kind of maturity Akshar Patel shows while batting as well. He's in this season, especially we've seen it. He came in at number 3, number 4 for the Delhi Capitals whenever it was required. Last season, when the Delhi Capitals were doing horribly in the batting, he was the one who, you could say, kind of carried Delhi's batting lineup along with a
yeah,
few other players. So in case of a collapse, you could have Akshar Patel come up the order and kind of stabilize the innings. Or if you want a matchup which favors
Spin.
more towards Akshar Patel. Yes,
Yeah,
you can see Akshar Patel's strike rate against left arm spin is
it's 160, I guess.
160.43.
Yeah, yeah.
So if you want, our top order would be mostly all right-handed batsmen. So uh, considering you want a spin basher on the top, you could promote Akshar Patel, which is kind of unlikely, but again, it gives you an option.
Yeah, let's get in shabby here now. As a Ravindra Jadeja fan, most likely it is obviously going to be Ravindra Jadeja because I don't see the Indian team dropping him from the 11. But does Akshar Patel make a case, and what are your thoughts on this debate between Jadeja versus Akshar?
Okay, so I mean, I guess we saw most of the stats that were from IPL and not much from the international side. The point is, Jadeja is it's like too great a player at international side now, considering all the formats, obviously, not only T20 format. So that somewhat makes the mental pressure on the overall fraternity that to have him in the team always. We haven't even spoken about the third aspect of the cricket, that is fielding. It's not comparable when you compare Akshar with Jadeja, and sometimes that matters a lot. In T20, it does matter fielding. You get one odd runouts here and there. That matters a lot. You get some few boundary savings and some great catches. That matters a lot. So obviously, India considers that as the maybe the better stat when compared to Akshar. Now talking about batting and bowling again, uh, somehow I agree that Akshar is definitely a better bowler than Jadeja in limited overs, not only T20, in ODIs as well. So that is okay. Akshar wins there. In terms of batting, I feel Akshar has also been given enough opportunities international level, but he has failed. The matches I remember recently, maybe last year, or he has been given like a number five or number six slot in the ODIs or T20s. He been promoted up the order in India, but he couldn't perform well. I guess they were trying to fit him as the middle order left-handed batsman, which India was missing since many times. But yeah, he couldn't perform at the international level when the expectation pressure was there. I mean, when we are chasing, you're expecting him to maybe slog a few boundaries to make the equation easy, or maybe yeah, within the first inning, if you want to go it big after initial openers have played well. But maybe at the national level, in terms of batting, Akshar, it's still lacking something. The ballers don't treat him as a batsman. Maybe they can just consider him as maybe a lower middle order batsman or just a tail ender. And sometimes one good ball and generally Akshar gets out. That's what I have observed so far in international level. So I mean, Jadeja has that experience due to as it plays tests also. At least he won't lose his wicket to like a very simple balls, or he will at least stay there at the crease when required. And to support this fact, I always remember one match of Asia Cup 2022, the one match before he got injured and then he just went away for a few months. It was against Pakistan. Hardik Pandya actually finished that match, if you remember correctly. But it was Jadeja who gave support at the middle order. I was just checking the stats when you were talking that it was 149 run chase, and India were 53 for 3. Virat Kohli, Rohit Sharma, and KL Rahul was gone. And after 53 for 3, it was Surya Kumar Yadav and Jadeja who took who took India to 89, and then 89 for 4. Surya Kumar got out. He did nothing. He scored 19 ball 19. So it was Jadeja after 89 for 4. It was Jadeja and Hardik who took India to win. And coming it at 53 for 3, I guess this is like great pressure situation, 53 for 3. And Jadeja showed his experience and showed his class to stay there at the crease till the end and almost took India to the finish. So I guess such matches are like we can see the value of Jadeja, and I couldn't see Aksar doing good in such kind of situations because lack of experience and maybe the lack of ability also in terms of batting. So I guess this is the case for over Aksar in international matches. I think.
Just to talk about this, since you were talking about stats, right? I looked up on ESPN Cricinfo right now. I mean, Akshar Patel T20I batting stats. He has a strike rate of 144 compared to Jadeja's 125, and their average is almost similar, close to 20. So it's actually contrasting what the stats say
But
compared to
it's not a
Jadeja
big
being a
sample
batsman when
size. I don't think it's a big sample size in favor of Akshar Patel.
And I feel Akshar Patel
uh
always plays in kind of
no
second string series,
no
like
let me
against lesser teams.
Akshar
Maybe.
Patel has 31 innings, whereas
Hmm.
Jadeja has 36 innings, so the sample size is actually quite similar.
No, no. When I meant sample sizes, I think what I was trying to point is that most of Jadeja's innings, if you see, have actually come. He's been playing from 2009 onwards,
Correct, yeah.
right?
There are
Hmm.
innings where he has scored 25 35 in the T20
Yeah.
World Cup in 2009. So probably those things have added up, which have not worked in Jadeja's favor. Yeah, I
I'd
think,
like to add what
yeah, sure,
on
Kevin, yeah, go ahead,
what
yeah.
Shubham said, but I agree. If you're seeing, it depends on what the Indian team is looking at. If you're looking at like we need a team to build a team for for 180 plus scores. I think then we're assuming flat batting wickets. And in that aspect, if you want if a better batsman or something like that, I think and they want to kind of like use Akshar Patel as a joker in the pack and push him up the order, assuming we are going with a top four of Virat Kohli, Rohit Sharma, Suryakumar Yadav, and Sanju Samson. If you're going with that top four and you want to push in Akshar Patel to play like kind of like a joke on the pack, then it makes sense. But if you're targeting 150, 160 kind of games, and you want someone who has experience who can help you navigate and just hang in there, I think that's where that's where I think Ravindra Jadeja has the experience. I would have supported you know uh, Ninad and Ninad's claim that I think Akshar Patel makes a better case for selection. If I hadn't seen Ravindra Jadeja take on Mitchell Stark in 2020, I think it was.
Yeah,
So
in that T20 game against Australia is what you're talking
exactly,
about. Yeah,
yes,
yeah,
yes.
yeah,
So
yeah.
post that, I don't think I've seen enough of Ravindra Jadeja actually play T20. I don't see like I don't remember any kind
Hmm.
of like good innings. I don't remember any kind of opportunities where you can say that oh if like Ravindra Jadeja should have finished this game, he didn't finish it off kind of. I'm not seeing that from a failure perspective. It makes sense. But yeah, as a we saw the numbers. I think even the death overs, the stats that we saw in IPL. I think Jadeja showed like 86 overs, and I think Akshar Patel was 8.6. Or did I see it wrong? Or it was
Four.
the death overs that they were bowling kind of like
So the bowling in death overs, I'll just go back to
yeah
so death overs. Jadeja has bowled 86 and
yeah
Aksar has bowled. Okay, so yeah,
8.6.
yeah, that's something wrong there. 8.68 is the economy. I will just get the death overs numbers out.
Yeah. Oh,
So yeah,
maybe I
death
missed it.
bowlers 58.4. Aksar has bowled
Acha
58.4.
58.
Jadeja has bowled 86.2. So yeah, obviously Jadeja has bowled more. I think I agree with Kevin there saying that depending on what kind of wicket you have. So if it's a 150, 160 kind of a wicket, I think Jadeja then with the ball in hand also becomes quite dangerous. We have seen at Chennai as well, where he plays most of his IPL games, that
Yes.
it's very difficult to get him away. Probably he will give like 20, 25, 30 runs in his 4 overs. And that's it. You probably will lose 2 wickets to him as well. But on
But the
flat
main
tags,
point
yeah,
is, yeah, the main point is that Shabby mentioned is like you were not counting the fielding that he
fielding, yeah.
brings.
Yeah,
I
fielding
like
obviously Jadeja way above Aksar.
Akshar is
Aksar
not
is not
bad.
bad. Aksar is not bad, but I saw him drop a couple of catches this season, which was quite strange.
So
But yeah, I think he was captain in that game, so probably that extra pressure as well. Because Jadeja, I saw dropping catches when he was
he
captain
was
for
captain as well.
CSK.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, probably that played a part. But yeah, I think it's going to be a crucial debate going forward as well. But I think it's pretty much straightforward that India will favor Jadeja because of his experience at the international level. Even though Aksar has showed signs that he can match Jadeja, if not be better than him in the T20 format. There are a lot of questions coming in. We will answer those and then probably move on to the preview for the RCB CSK game. And that should be it for the day because we're already running over time. So, on the Indian team, I think we have got a question from Tejal: who would be in the starting 11 for India, Pant or Samson? I think this is also an interesting debate. It all depends on who bats where. If Virat is opening or Virat is going to bat at number three, that is going to lead to the answer to this question, I believe. Kevin and Ninad, if you can join in on this. I had a piece on actually why Virat Kohli should open. I probably will take that in next week's podcast where we will entirely discuss the Indian squad in depth. But if Virat opens, if Virat open, and I think this question is related to that, sir. Dube or Jaiswal? So in my 11, I was opening with Virat and Rohit. Probably Sky at 3, or if there is an early wicket, I would send in Sanju at 3 or Pant at 3, whoever is playing, and then Sky at 4, and then Dube at 5. I would include Dube at 5 and Hardik Pandya at 6, and I wouldn't pick Jaiswal as of now because I want Virat Kohli opening. But coming back to the original question, Kevin, based on current form, I think Samson has shown a bit more form, probably bit more hitting abilities. Pant has the tendency to get stuck in the middle at times in the T20 format. So your thought on that? But at the same time, I think Pant has played more Test cricket. So if the ball is swinging around and if you want somebody to bat at number 3, then Pant could be a better fit. What do you think, Kevin?
Yeah, I think the combination matters a lot. There's a lot of kind of like experts want punt to bat in because you want a left-hander. But the main point that why do you need a left-hander in the middle is because you want someone to take the spinners. And as you mentioned, that in this cycle we haven't seen kind of like Rishabh Pant take on the spinners.
Yeah.
So just because he's a left-handed batsman and you feel he's going to take on the spinners, I don't think that that logic makes sense. So if you
Yeah,
if you
that's
if
why
you
to take on spin, I was including Shivam Dube at 5. I think
exactly.
he definitely takes on spin without any doubt. So if you can include Dube, then you can go in with Samson probably. If Dube is not playing, then they will go in with Pant. But as you said, he's not really taking on spin. So whether it's the right decision or not, that is something which we need to see. Nina, quickly, sorry, Kevin, if you want to add more on this.
Yeah, I was saying the combination matters a lot. I don't see Virat Kohli opening. Honestly, I feel we might have a case where Sanju Samson might open with Rohit Sharma because both you don't want both Virat Kohli and Rohit Sharma to waste the power play. And there's a lot of talk like of fans saying that the way Rohit Sharma opened in the ODI World Cup, we expect him that when he'll wear the blue jersey and the way he bats for India, he's going to do the same thing. I don't think that's going to happen because in the ODI World Cup, you have two bowlers bowling 5 overs consistently with just two for 10 overs. So the batsman also gets adjusted to kind of like the bowler, so he can take him on. But that doesn't work in T20. You're gonna have like almost within 2 overs you're gonna have a new bowler coming in. So I feel if you're playing Samson, you can either play him at 3, but if you're playing him at 3 and you have these two giants playing kind of like you can say is a uh, you can say a cautious kind of like an approach, then your entire lineup you will not need your finishers in order to kind of like come in early because you're just going to kind of like bat time out. So I like it depends on what they want to do. I feel that Samson has the game to kind of like give you a 10 ball 20. I'm not sure the same I can say with Pant kind of like because I know he needs to take his time and he most of the times what disappoints me a lot about him is he tries to manufacture shots, which kind of like sometimes works. It works brilliantly in tests, but in T20 for that matter, it's not working out well because you have five fielders on the boundary and his execution has not been that great. We've seen him struggle with execution in this IPL as well. Though on paper he looks good, he's done well, but he's taken on most of the Indian guys. So let's see. So my vote is for Samson.
Nina, your vote. Who are you going in with, Pant or Samson?
It's a tough ask. Form-wise, Samson is better, but I think I would go with Pant because of the left-hand combination that he offers as well. So, and I agree with you on the idea of Kohli and Rohit opening, though I don't see it happening, but I think that would be the best strategy to go about where Rohit could just go all out and Kohli to play his usual
Exactly,
actual
exactly.
kind of innings where he can
Yeah.
just blast off after like the 8th or 10th over.
Yeah, I am definitely in favor of Virat Kohli opening. There are a lot of questions, so probably we will have to extend this podcast by 15 minutes, which is fine for everybody, I guess, because anyways you're not getting paid. So even if we extend it, we will not pay you. So, sir, on the slower pitches of West Indies, second part of the tournament, which is the Super Eights, because the first part will be in US, where me and Kevin are currently ready for the T20 World Cup. Will Kohli be a good pick, or should we go in for Jaiswal? Interesting point of view there. See, again, what I would say is, the thing is, if it's turning, And we all know Virat Kohli has his issues with spin. And even though he might deny it on commentary, in his interviews, it's pretty much what the stats say, that his numbers are not great against spin. But at the same time, if it's a 150, 160 game, then Kohli becomes double the player, because that's exactly at the strike rate which he will go. 150, 160, as in you need to go at 135, 140, 130, 135. And he is the one who will take you to the end overs as well. Guys like Surya and Shivam Dubey, if playing, or even Rishabh Pant or Sanju Samson, they have the tendency to score 25, 30 and then get out. Whereas Kohli will play that long innings, and a 150, 160 game will be the most ideal game for him. But at the same time, he has his issues against spin, so it's a pretty tough question to answer. But the thing is that Virat Kohli is in the squad, he's definitely playing in the 11, so you can't really deny that. And I think that the best place for him is to open the innings, because I have a piece on that, and probably I will put it out on a website as well, and also show you in the next podcast. But this is my point of view, that if Virat Kohli is playing, I mean, he is playing, so he should open the batting. Yeah, and I would sit out Jaiswal at the moment and try and bring in Dubey, because he's the guy who can, like, even on a slow wicket, if he can hit those two, three, four sixes against spin, that's enough for you in a 160 game. So yeah, a lot of questions, a lot of more questions coming in. Let's go through this. Kevin, I think this is for you. They have learned from the 2022 T20 World Cup. You won't see them playing cautiously, and they will definitely dominate the power play. Frame this, and we will play this after each India's T20 World Cup game, when they are 40 for 2 in the power play.
I don't think it'll be 40 for 2. We might be 40 for no loss or 40 for 1.
Yeah.
But yeah, it'll be 60 for 2, but I don't think it'll be 40 for 2.
I mean, in the semi-final, we were 35 for 1, if I'm not wrong, in that famous semi-final,
Right.
where
Yeah.
Rohit Sharma played 28 of 29 or something like that, and India scored a below par total, which was chased down with no wickets lost. Question. So now let's move on to the IPL back again for the last 10 to 12 minutes before we wrap up, as there is a big game today. But before that, let's talk about a question from Saurabh Wandekar, who is a pretty famous watcher of our group. He plays the IPL auction as well with us, and is currently not leading. He was leading till yesterday. I think Kevin's team has gone up in the IPL auction, which we play as a fun part. So, why do you think KKR was successful this season? Was it all because of Gambhir? And how do you see Gambhir as India's next head coach? I think Kevin has talked a lot about it in our group as well, so I think he would be interested to answer this. Kevin, your thoughts on this?
I think two people I need to be given credit. One is Gambhir and second is Shreyas Iyer. Because with Shreyas Iyer kind of like sacrificing, ideally with the T20 World Cup selection and in contention, he could have just said, irrespective of how the batting order shifts, I'm going to come in at number three. But his willingness to kind of like let an 18-year-old come in before him and kind of like push Shreyas Iyer down to 4 or 5 depending on what the kind of like game situation. I think he's just shown what Rohit Sharma did for Mumbai Indians back in 2013 and kind of like encouraged a kind of like a team kind of like culture. And all credit to Gambhir for that matter, because the team that he has built, he has brought in Manish Pandey, didn't do well in LSG, didn't do well in DC, didn't do well in SRH, to come in and kind of like give him the confidence to deliver against get picked in the game against Mumbai and kind of like stitch a partnership with Venkatesh Iyer and help Kika to get some good score. Just highlights that point. I think what worked for them excellent was Jason Roy kind of like not returning,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
helped them get Phil Salt in, and that worked brilliantly for them because we had, as we had spoken, like Phil Salt was one of the best, you can say, keeper, batsmen, or even openers behind Travis Head that should have got a call. Why DC left him is still a mystery to me, but no one is going to question them because they found Stubbs, so it's fine.
Yeah, they not only found stuff, they also found our favorite FMCG, which we call him FMCG, but Jake Fraser McGurk is his name. So
Yeah.
yeah, talking about KKR just quickly, if I can add my points here, I think the thing which they have managed to do is that like apart from the openers, anybody bats anywhere. So that basically the thing is that you have to just go out there and express yourself or just go for it. So they have kept the left right combination going. So if Phil Salt gets out, you mostly see Ankagrish Raghuvanshi coming in. If Sunil Narain gets out, sometimes you see a Venkatesh Iyer, because you need to keep that right left combination, and then Shreyas Iyer chips in based on who gets out. And then obviously towards the end you have Russell and Rinku, even though Rinku hasn't been in great form, but the likes of Ramandeep Singh have come up and showed some high quality hitting skills. So that the batting part of that has worked. Extremely deep batting lineup, which always works in this kind of a tournament where scores are extremely high. So that is something which has worked in their favor. And in the bowling thing, but I think, yeah, Gambhir has had a huge part in it, and especially Narain opening, because nobody expected it. We were talking about probably Salt and Venkatesh Iyer opening, or if Nitish Rana plays, if he can open, so something like that. We were on those lines talking about. So nobody expected Sunil Narain to open. So Gambhir definitely has played a part. Kevin, yes, sorry, you can continue.
Yeah, and he and players that he picked up, I think Ramandeep, excellent. He was discarded by Mumbai Indians, and he did well. I remember a game, I think he took 3 for 20, and even kind of like was I don't remember the game which they lost, but I think it was against SRH with Tim David when he was batting, and he showed those kind of glimpses. And they let him go, and Kickers kind of like picked him for cheap. Also, they took care of their keeper issue by getting in KS Bharat. I feel that maybe if Jason Roy had played, KS Bharat would have played instead of Ramandeep. So they
Ramandeep,
kind of
yeah,
like they
yeah.
identified the gaps within their team. Uh, they might get criticized for overspending on Stark, but we saw in Stark's absence the way kind of like DC, KKR couldn't defend 260 against Punjab. So he kind of like got in the small, he filled in the gaps that they had. And one thing that he has encouraged is the team first kind of like culture. We always see, we never discuss it with when it comes to Australian cricket. Like, if this guy doesn't play, whether they're going to win or lose, because they kind of like, you don't know who's going to kind of like run away with the game. The same thing we can't speak about India, because it's kind of like purely on an individual basis. We expect the big guys to kind of like be put a price on the wicket, like just the way we've seen KL Rahul bat. And we've seen something similar with Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli do it in the past two World Cups. That is and that's the reason we have not been able to kind of like get over the hump. People talk about the 2022 World Cup, but I don't I like I would like to bring memories back. As in, I don't think we lost it because we kind of like didn't put a good score. I think we got to 180. The issue was that we
160,
didn't
168,
160.
168.
Sorry,
Yeah.
yeah, 8 and 8 is 160, correct. But I think the bowling kind of like let us down, because I don't think we created any opportunities for that matter.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah, yeah. India obviously missed Jasprit Bumrah as well. But yeah, coming back to the point of Kolkata Knight Riders, I think overspending is overrated. They had money, so they spent. They needed just Mitchell Stark, to be honest. How I looked at the auction, they needed Mitchell Stark to fill in that role of a left arm pacer who can open the bowling. They had the money. Gujarat Titans
Yes.
had the money, if I'm not wrong, at that point of time. Both wanted that player. Eventually, Gujarat Titans went in with Spencer Johnson, but both wanted that player, so the price went high. It's about getting the players which you want, and if you have the money you can spend it. But yeah, coming back to the last part of the question, Ninad, if you can chip in here, do you see Gambhir as India's next head coach? Because the headlines from ESPN Cricket Info suggest that BCCI has approached him for that position. It's definitely that Rahul Dravid is not interested anymore in continuing after the T20 World Cup. So do you think Gambhir taking up that position?
Rather than, I don't know, thinking that would he or would he not, I would like to talk about things that would happen if he does. You've seen Gambhir. I think he hasn't coached any team in Ranji or anywhere in the
No, no,
domestic season as well.
no,
Neither no international, but you've
no.
seen him lead LSG in the past two seasons. He had done a great job at that. They qualified under him as their head coach, and also with KKR now, what a turnaround it has been. So he has that one aspect which I think is lacking in the Indian team, intent. So I think Gambhir, if selected as the head coach, would be great for the Indian team. I think there would be a few positive changes that would be very welcome by the fans, because you've already seen us try new things, or rather not try new things and fail. So rather than not trying new things and failing, it's better to try new things and fail or succeed.
Yeah, it's sad to see MI fans turning RCB fans. Are we seeing Rohit in Bangalore next year? This is for Ninad, I guess. Even Shabby is a MI fan, but I don't think he has turned into an RCB fan. We'll come to that RCB CSK game. Just a last thing on the Gauti and Fleming thing. I think, sir, does picking a successful IPL coach help? Because picking up successful IPL captain didn't help much. Uh, Beat either Gauti or Fleming. I believe that coaching in the IPL and coaching a national cricket team is a very different ball game, because you have only 2 months with an IPL team, and I think half the battle in the IPL is won at the auction. So if you plan well in the auction, you will probably do most likely do
I
well
think
in
the
the
interesting
tournament.
question is
Yeah.
like in the IPL, the coaches have a say in the players they want. I don't think the same thing works with Indian
Correct,
cricket.
correct. Yeah, because the selectors are somebody else, and if they select these players, then the coach has to work with them.
Yeah.
Whereas in the IPL, as you said, Gambhir does sit on that auction table, so he says that whether we want this to buy this player or not. So definitely that is something which does play a role, and I think,
At this time,
yeah,
I
yeah.
think we need a coach like Greg Chappell because because you were transitioning from senior player to junior players, and I think it seems like Rahul Dravid, I don't think wants to be a part of that. I
Yeah.
think he's received a lot of criticism for no reason at all. But I was expecting him to kind of like bleed in young players, which has not happened. So whoever comes in, I think Gautam Gambhir is the type of guy who can be the Dark Knight. Okay, he's the coach that India don't deserve, but they need him the most now because he at this point of time you need someone who can kind of like encourage a team first kind of culture because we are going too much into individual you can say fandom. So let's see, but I'm not sure how it is going to go. But one thing that I can assure you is whoever's made the next T20 captain under Gambhir is kind of like going to be more of like you can say is not going to have that much power.
Yeah, I think if Gambhir is the coach, then he runs the team. Would Kohli let it happen? Yes, it was a private chat, but I just read it out. I don't think Kohli has a say in the head coach anymore. He's not the captain. Yes, he's a senior player, but I don't think he would have a say in the coach. So in
I don't
case,
think, yeah, because I don't think Kohli now, like I felt the way Rohit Sharma behaved under Hardik Pandya, I was expecting Virat Kohli to do the same thing under Rohit Sharma.
yeah, but
But
he
I think,
didn't do
yeah,
any of
he
that
kind of like
sorts.
just showed where his loyalties lie.
Yeah,
So I
exactly.
think Virat Kohli will have no issues. But yeah, Virat Kohli being captained by Rohit Sharma at RCB, I don't think that's happening. That's for
No,
sure.
that's not
That's not
happening at
happening.
all.
That's not happening.
Rohit Sharma will be in the auction next year,
Punjab,
and as
Punjab.
expected, Punjab Kings will pick him. Yeah, Punjab Kings pick anybody who's available in the auction because they have a lot of money. But yeah, coming to the final discussion of the day, RCB versus CSK starting in 48 minutes. I don't know the weather forecast, but last time I spoke to somebody who currently stays in Bangalore said that it wasn't raining in his part, but the stadium is 20 kilometers far from his house. Shabby, if you can come back in, you have been on mute for a long time, so let's give you an opportunity to speak. RCB versus CSK. I think the mathematics there is that RCB need to win by 18 runs or need to chase it down in 18.1 overs. I think they would prefer chasing, because winning by 18 runs is something which to a certain extent can't be controlled if the runs keep flowing, but chasing in a certain amount of overs can be controlled. So that's something which RCB would like to do if they win the toss. But do you think RCB can win the sixth game in a row? They have won five, a phenomenal comeback from where they were, 8 matches, one win, and now last 5 matches, 5 wins. I think Virat Kohli has to be credited, Faf, and then you have Will Jacks coming in, who will miss this game. So there are a lot of questions to this. So yeah, your thoughts on the game?
Yeah, so really looking forward to this game. I'll be watching as a pure neutral spectator because being a MI fan, I hate both these teams, CSK and RCB. So both are kind of opponents, but yeah, that should be the great match. So when I was thinking about how this match will go. So the only one thing that's on the RCB's plate that they want to win it with certain run rate. I mean, they have to win it within 18 overs or by the 18 runs margin. that can affect mentally a bit. That can affect. And whereas on the CSK side, they just have to win it, so they won't have this extra pressure on their side. And again, CSK, RCB both have their stakes at this match. It's not like it's a dead rubber for CSK and that they have already qualified or they're already out. So that makes a bit less seriousness, but it's like stakes are at place for both
A
of them.
big update coming in. Still not raining here. Sorry to interrupt you. Still not
That,
raining
that,
here.
that,
Yeah, yeah,
that's really great to hear.
yeah.
We are expecting full match, and that's how it is. Fair game has to be played. It should be the full match. So yeah, I mean that extra run rate pressure might affect a bit to RCB, and but in terms of desperation or maybe trying too much to achieve that run rate, they might lose it eventually, and
Just to
then
add
that will
my
be CSK
thoughts,
qualifying.
yeah, just add my thoughts. As an ex RCB fan, I don't think since Virat Kohli has become Virat Kohli, I don't think any time I recall when RCB need to win the last match to qualify or something there, they have gone on to do well. Maybe you can consider 2016
2016,
was,
yeah,
yeah,
2016 where they needed to win. I think they won against Delhi Daredevils at that point of time. But
yeah,
yeah, last year as well, they needed to win against Gujarat Titans. They lost the game.
2018 against Rajasthan also it was, I thought
Yeah,
they could have
I
won,
think
they didn't win.
Shreyas
It
Gopal
was,
came in and picked up those
yeah,
key wickets. Like
2020 also against Delhi. If they had won, they would have gone on to finish
number
second.
two,
That,
yeah, but they lost in 18 point whatever that number was, and they
yes.
qualified, which was crucial.
2021 also against SRH also they had to win, and they won, it was an easy game. They won, they would have qualified in the top two. That
Hmm.
also didn't kind of like go as per plan. So I don't think RCB has ever won games under pressure. So what he makes an excellent point, Shabi, that I don't know even if it's a 20 over game whether RCB can pull it off. But the good thing for them is I think this is the weakest bowling of from CSK that they will face in a very long time. So if they're
Yeah,
chasing,
because yeah, no Pathirana, no Mustafizur as well. So yeah, definitely that works in their favor.
no Deepak Chahar as well, or Deepak
Yeah,
Chahar
no
is
Deepak
bowling.
Char, no Deepak Char, I guess. Yeah, no Deepak Char. I think you will see Tushar, Shardul, and Simarjit. Ninad wants to chip in here. Yes, Ninad.
Yeah, I mean, talking about this match, one interesting matchup that I have found is Ravindra Jadeja. We just spoke about him, but
Mhm.
yeah, he has really good numbers
Yes,
against Maxwell. I think he's got him 6 times so far in the IPL, and Kohli and Dinesh Karthik as well, 3 times each. So Ravindra Jadeja could be key on this Bangalore wicket
it's surprising
where
for me, but
Pacers.
in Wankhede and even to some extent in Bangalore, I think Ravindra Jadeja has a good record. Huh? I thought he'll be
Yeah.
belted around, but no, he's done pretty well. But it'll be great to see because you don't have. Do we have Tikshana? I'm not sure whether Tikshana is going to play or no. But Ravindra
Yeah,
Jadeja
that
might
is the
have to bowl
question
his.
which people are asking: Gleason or
He is
Santner? Because
available,
even
yes.
Moeen Ali has left. So you have Mitchell, Rachin Ravindra, Daryl Mitchell. Who are the rest two overseas players you're looking at?
Rachin?
Rachin, Mitchell, the two. Who are the
Okay,
other
okay,
two?
sorry.
Yeah.
Uh, I don't think that it's going to be more of an Indian, but I'm pretty sure they'll go if they want Santner to bowl in the power play, they might consider him, in my
Yeah,
opinion.
because two right-handers, Virat and Faf. So definitely that is an
Yeah,
option they might
because
think of.
if Santner's not playing, then Ravindra Jadeja is expected to finish his full four overs quota. And under Dhoni that wouldn't have been a possibility, but I'm pretty sure under Ruturaj has encouraged that he bowls his 4 overs. And but I would like to see Gleason. I think both can play. I think we have a case for
Yeah, I
both to
think there
play.
are slots for both. If Tikshna is not playing, then
Hmm.
definitely you have slots for both because where are the other overseas players they've gone? You only have Tikshna also bowls in the power play. Yeah. So if Tikshna plays, oh, it's either Tikshna or Santner, and I think Gleason will make the 11 if because others are not available, or they might go with an all India bowling attack, like or most India bowling attack, which they did last game with Simarjeet, Tushar, Shardul, and Jadeja. So that's four Indian bowlers, and then one of Tikshna or
I
Santner,
think I
whoever
think
plays.
in future teams are going to consider like I was hoping one at least a team would have picked Josh Hazelwood because it would have been super effective now, but just because he wasn't available during the initial stages, nobody thought of using him in
Yeah,
the towards the business stages of the. But I think it would have been pretty handy. CSK may could have kind of like utilized him, but as we know with
yeah.
Aussies, these guys are not going to come if you don't if you don't pick this year, they're not your
Maxwell
first choice.
or
They're not
yeah, yeah, yeah.
coming.
Maxwell or
Yeah.
Green at three. I think Patidar at three. That would be better.
Yeah, it's Patidar. Definitely, it's Patidar at three.
And
Definite
then
retention, right? We agree on that aspect.
yeah. Patidar is a definite retention. The way he takes on spin, I haven't seen a right-hander in recent times who dominates spin the way he does. So if he can take on Jadeja and whoever plays Tikshna or Santner, it would be fun to watch because he took on Aksar and Kuldeep as well in the last game. Before that, he has taken each and every spinner in the comp: Mayank Markande, Harpreet Brar, Rahul Chahar. So yeah, pretty interesting uh, chat that. I think Patidar at three will be a key, and then probably following with Maxwell at four, Green at five, and then DK at six and Lobro at seven, depending on how things go. Whether they are batting first or chasing, all that depends. So yeah. Just quick, who wins? Who qualifies? Not who wins, because RCB might win but might not qualify. So, who qualifies? Kevin, Chennai or RCB? Because the rest three are decided.
I think it's Chennai who will qualify.
Mhm.
I I feel that this. I don't think we'll get washed out now, but yeah,
No, no, I don't think it's gonna get
I
washed
think
out.
I think RCB might win the game, but Chennai will qualify. I just hope that they don't qualify in the top two.
Chennai, let's see, because the playoffs are at Chennai, so you never know. Shabby, your thoughts?
I mean,
Chennai,
that's an
RCB, who is qualifying?
interesting quote from Kevin that RCB will win, but CSK qualify. I mean, there is very small margin to
Yeah,
that happen, but
exactly.
he's predicting that to happen. But I'm expecting CSK will win and they'll qualify. Yeah,
Yeah, I think the same. I think CSK will win and qualify, winning six in a row. And as Kevin mentioned, winning under pressure is not something which RCB too good, not too at all in the last 4 or 5 years. So probably you could see Chennai winning. It all depends on the toss. The toss is in 9 minutes, so we will be leaving right now to watch that toss. You guys go and watch that toss. But definitely tune in next week as well. Saturday, probably the time might be different because we don't have a game next Saturday. We did this early because we had a game today. Next Saturday, no game. We have a game on Sunday, the IPL final. So we'll definitely be previewing the IPL final and discussing more on the T20 World Cup squad. Who makes the 11? Pant or Samson? Who makes the 11? Jadeja or Aksar? And a lot other questions as well. So definitely tune in next week, and probably we'll have more panelists to join us and more guests on the comment in the comment section as well. Thank you from my side. Thank you
just
from Kevin, and thank you
just
from
one last
Shabby.
question.
Yeah,
Just
sure.
one
Yeah,
last question. How many balls will Thala play today?
I think it's if they're batting first, 4 balls, 4 balls, 10 runs, 1-6-1-4.
Eight balls for me. I think 8 balls he'll play.
8 balls is a bit too
If it's a
much.
20 over game, eight balls for sure.
Why not seven?
Thala for a reason.
Yeah. Let's see. I hope that RCB are batting second, not be so that they can like have a chance of chasing
Kohli
it to
chase
18.
master. Yeah, I was
Yeah,
going to say Kohli
18.1
chase.
overs. 18.1 overs. 18 overs, 18 runs, and Virat Kohli 18. And I think it's 18th May as well, so everything is 18.
I
So let's
hope
see.
Virat Kohli scores only 18 runs
Let's
because
see.
he's not in my fantasy auction.
Mm. Let's see. Let's see.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you very much, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed it, and we will be back next week. Thank you very much. Like, share, and subscribe to Cricket Adda, and keep watching Cricket Addicts.